welcome back to Lens on Africa. Right now it's about that time where we have our weekly conversation, and before we do, here is a short video backgrounder to set the pace.
A country's rainy season, also known as a wet season, is the time of the year when the majority of the country's or region's annual precipitation occurs. The term rainy season can mean different things depending on what part of the world you are in. Whatever rainy season means to you based on your location, it is evident that it comes with it enormous benefits to man. Some of the benefits of rainy season include that it helps to cool things off in the summer heat, so it's perfect for picnics and outdoor fun. Rainy season helps to get clean water occasioned by rise in groundwater level, leading to decrease in temperature of the earth, hence more availability of clean water. It helps to cleanse the atmosphere and improve health of individuals by removing pollutants such as dust, pollen, and smoke particles, and that the rainy season helps to grow trees taller and stronger. Other benefits include that farmers can grow crops during rainy season without having to face any problems associated with lack of it throughout the year. It provides nourishment to wild animals and plants, just as the rainy season replenishes underground water supplies that are used for drinking, swimming pools, and fish ponds. Notwithstanding these and other enormous benefits, the rainy season also has devastating effects to man, one of which is flooding. Flooding is an overflow of water onto land that is normally dry. Floods can happen during heavy rains, when ocean waves come on shore, when snow melts quickly, or when dams or levees break. Damaging flooding may happen with only a few inches of water, or it may cover a house to the rooftop. Floods can occur within minutes or over a long period and may last days, weeks, or even longer. On the interview segment of the program today, we shall be doing justice to flood-related issues, which include understanding the causes of flooding, the areas that are at risk of flooding, and the preventive measures against flooding, to mention a few. Do remain on our channel as the segment promises to be revealing and no doubt educating.
Joining us today to discuss flooding, causes, prevention and mitigation, and researcher, author, activist, and pragmatist, president and founder, Association of Environmental Protection and Climate Change Expert, retired Air Vice Marshal Akunwe Iyamo. Welcome to Lens on Africa, sir. It's good to have you once again.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Also joining us is a member of the International Association of Hydrological Sciences and a fellow of the Nigerian Association of Hydrological Science and the Nigerian Association of Hydrogeologists, former Director General, Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency, Engineer Clement Nze. Welcome to Lens in Africa, sir.
It's my pleasure.
It's good to have you with us.
I'm the current Director General.
Oh, you're the current? Oh,
yes.
God
I
bless
was
you.
wondering when I happened yesterday.
Sorry, my information was outdated. Sorry,
Yeah.
sir.
Thank you, no problem.
Good to have you here. All right, sir. So I'm going to ask both of you gentlemen, but this is more your turn, so I'll start with you in this one. Now, we have a situation where in Africa generally, floods are not new, and technology and engineering has improved tremendously. However, we're still dealing with a lot of problems in the issue of flooding. Why do we still have these problems with all these technological advancements?
Thank you so much for having me on the studio. Now, so long as we have rainfall, there will always be flood. But what is at, within the purview of the conversation is the disaster that accompanies flooding. So it's a whole gamut of issues that cause flooding to, disaster to occur, accompanying flood incidents. Human activities, talk about the climate change phenomenon, But anthropogenic activities of man, exacerbate flooding. So quite a lot of things. You saw what happened in Abuja recently, less than 2 weeks ago.
Yes, sir.
Maybe about 2 weeks ago, the issue of Trademore Estates, people not adhering to building codes, approvals being given, and there are no measures in place, no environmental impact assessment studies before you bring in or introduce a stranger by word of houses, projects, on the virgin land. So you don't take account of all those things. Building within the floodplains, dropping all kinds of things with it to block our drainage systems. These are the things, and also actually the geology of environment will also help. Cause flooding in a location. But what human activities has a lot to do.
All right. So thank you very much. So I'm going to push you further on that one. We, like you said, we already have technologies. These things can be predicted. We know what this issue are. Why are we still dealing with this level of devastation from flooding?
Thank you very much. Science have conquered everything. The only thing I've not been able to conquer is weather. So there's an urgent need in the world now to take a look at the El Nino pattern corresponding with summer in the northern hemisphere.
Okay.
Well, this is also already leading to corresponding increased temperature with a shift in the snow and the water.
Okay.
What does that do? You are going to have uncharted temperatures in the territory, and you're going to have weather and rainfall that you are not used to.
Okay.
Now, coming back here to Nigeria. Nigeria is in the Sahel. It's in the Sahel. The temperature keeps increasing. These uncharted temperatures that we are talking about is leading to ocean warming, leading to evaporation of water, and leading to what do you now do? And the El Nino and the El Nina, they are very, very, very active now.
Yes, sir.
Now, in the last 3 years, you have the La Nina cooling down the temperature. That's why you are having temperature being cooled down. But around March, it left, and El Nino came in, starting from May. Now, this year, you're going to have very, very heavy rainfall between May and September. And there are chances that this is going to continue for the next 5 years. 5 years,
Yeah. So, sorry, if I might come in, like we said earlier on, and with engineer, that we know that flooding is a given.
Yes.
We've been having flooding since the history of man, so to speak.
Yes.
It changes as the climate changes and various things happen. But my issue is, our big issue for this conversation is, why are we still dealing with the level of devastation that we're dealing with, despite the fact that we know these floodings will happen, the weather will shift, the rain will fall, these things will happen. Why have we not still been able to reasonably, in fact, almost completely avoid devastation from flooding?
You see, we have not completely deterred our values.
Okay.
Now, what I mean by that is that, you see, the agencies are not alive to their responsibilities.
Okay.
It is a crying shame that in a federal capital territory like Abuja, flood will still ravage everybody and take everybody away. Now, look, for example, you see urbanization, you cannot stop that.
You cannot.
You can't stop that. Then waste management and disposal. That is a critical issue. If you move around Abuja, you wonder if the local governments are in existence. It is not everything that you push to the federal government. Okay. The local government, the municipal councils, where are they? Where are they?
So you're saying responsibility by government agencies who
yes,
are supposed to...
Yes, they have to up their game.
All right, so I'm going to come back to you, sir, because this is on your turf. Like we said earlier on, floods will happen. There's not much we can do about that. Rain will start, there will be sudden burst of rain, change of climate, and different things happen and floods happen. However, it is a mitigation of it. Now, he says a big issue is government agencies not living up to their responsibility. You're the head of one of such agency. What's your own perspective on this, and what's your response?
I think what you stated is a fact.
Okay.
Now, at the federal government level, we have 3 tiers of government. At the federal government level,
yes,
I will emphasize the fact that the agencies are up to their tasks in terms of making early predictions for people to know. For instance, on the 24th of January this year, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency went on air to tell Nigerians, through their seasonal climate predictions, what we are going to see in terms of rainfall amount, temperature, all kinds of things. Less than a month after, the Nigerian Hydrological Service Agency, where I work, we released the 2023 annual flood outlook, which fingered several local government areas in Nigeria that are going to be heavily impacted by flood.
Okay.
We have done our job. That 178 local government areas in 32 states and FCT will be badly affected by flood. We have their names. And another 224 local government areas in 35 states and FCT will be affected. We did all this and properly disseminated to the sub-nationals, as at the federal level, where the forecast agencies are. Now, where this information is made available to the sub-national, the states, it is expected that they should use their own apparatus in their states. Each state has town planning authorities. They have a water resources ministry, Ministry of Environment, and so on and so forth. What are those agencies doing in the states? So we expect that, having received this information, you should work with it. Where you need to clear drainages, do it as early as possible. Like I mentioned, the two agencies at the national level, federal level, did their job when the rainfall has never been established in Nigeria. Like as at 24th of February, there was no rainfall yet. January,
Yes, there was no
and
rainfall,
then February 17th, we told Nigeria about the flood incident in Nigeria that was going to happen. By this time, there was no much rain yet in the southern part of Nigeria. So what has happened? How far has the sub-national, taken steps to ensure that these petitions will not allow it to happen negatively upon us? But they seem to go to rest and until there's a disaster, and then begin to call on NEMA also from the federal level to come and intervene. When actually that's not the work of NEMA. It is when the capacity of the states is being overwhelmed. It now becomes a disaster that you cannot, bring in the federal level.
Thank you very much for clearing that up.
Yes, at the federal level, the agencies are working.
And thank you very much, sir.
Thank
that
you.
was very good. So I'm going to come back to you on the angle of activism, because you're an environmental activist to a certain degree. What can we do? How can we deploy activism to ensure that when we talk about government in Nigeria, people shift at least a lot of their attention from the federal government to states and local government, so we can put pressure on these systems to begin to respond? Because the data was released to the states. Now the states need to take action, but action wasn't taken. What can we do to put pressure on states and local government so we can see better responses? Trust. Please explain, sir.
Nigerians must trust the agencies.
Okay.
If you trust, trust is reciprocal. You do what you need to do, that will make me to trust you.
Okay.
For example, the issue of the trademark estate had been there consistently. You didn't know a demolition control agency in this place. Now you are talking of going to demolish those houses. Did you see the quality of the houses there? Those people are the one that the lowest rung of society who took money from everywhere to build a house. It is now for you to sit down. Government must, the agencies must be very proactive. Must be very proactive. This rain, it didn't start yesterday. It is not even at the peak yet. Let Lago Dam release its water. You have almost 30% of water joining up. Then you will see like I told you, it's a crying shame that Abuja will still be experiencing flooding year in, year out. Activism is not going to solve this. Every agency has its responsibility to the citizens. Are you discharging them? We are making a media show of it every year. Every year you go and stand by the side and read something. We don't want to see you. Just do your job. Just do your job. Then this sentence that have become so frequent now, we have warned them. You understand? What are you warning? Go and do your job. You don't need to warn anybody. The trademark, who approved the land for the trademark estate?
Okay. There's
an Abuja master plan. Does it not have a date that it was approved? If you see that relief line, that Galadima ran about was a gully before. They filled it up. What do you now do? You have pushed the water out. The relief line, now you didn't clear it. There was no drainage. At that point, you're supposed to have a massive drainage. Where Trademore is sitting as a blockade on the water line.
Oh, wow.
So all the water go there. Now, everybody would need to sit down now. The citizens, the government, and all, because agencies did not do what they were supposed to do at the time. So if you go there now, estates are coming up every day. Like he said, very excellently and brilliantly. Look, did you do the environmental impact assessment? Yes. What the world is dealing with now is not activism, it's water movement, which NISA is supposed to be very robust in resources, in manpower, and in everything. And as agency, for me, it should go out of under a ministry now, so that it can perform most of it. If you know the water movement, then you would know the solution to canvas.
All right, we'll come back to that conversation. Sir, you are a Director General of a very prominent government agency. How can we have better interaction? Because this is a mess that has happened right now, will continue to happen as the floods continue to get worse, and more human lives and property are damaged and destroyed. The typical response when such a things happen is to blame the other agency or the other tier of government. Meanwhile, people are suffering, people are dying, and to take some kind of harsh action, like you said, let's go demolish all the houses. But it was another arm of government that approved the houses in the first place, and the general public went and purchased those houses. How can we come with a practical solution where punitive action can be taken from those who didn't do their jobs? For example, those who approved the land when you knew that this place was not ideal, or those who did not do the environmental impact assessment and still went ahead to build. How do we solve this problem in a holistic manner, and so that we move forward and we stop, this blame game, and stop, like you said, the annual press conferences that we have and say, oh, it's a shame and all of that. They don't help anybody.
You see, if there is no punitive measure or punishment meted out to whoever defaults his bid, the mess will continue to happen.
Yes.
Let's take Abuja as an example. In the FCT here, we have all the paraphernalia to do the work to ensure that the environment is safe, that people are safe. For instance, we have the Development Control Department of the FCDA in the FCT. You have Abuja Environmental Protection Board. You have the Engineering Services Department or Secretariat in the FCT here. Where before any land is allocated or before any place is mapped out for estate developers, it should be part of the requirement before such is given. Detailed flood vulnerability mapping of those areas. Okay. I was speaking somewhere else, I said, maybe you don't get somebody that is powerful somehow, either a minister or whoever, and a virgin land is given to go and develop as an estate. You only take your pencil and ruler and begin to map out 1,000 plots, 50 by 50 or 50 by 100, and people that are unsuspecting will just go and buy plots and begin to develop. Meanwhile, out of the, say, 1,000 plots or whatever, you should have given at least 50 or 100 plots for flood to be able to map. This is where eventually the drainage system will be. Instead of building up the entire place like what happened in the Interdemo estate. So what I'm saying, like the PAMSEC of the FCT was there with his team, all these agencies I mentioned. They said there was no approval given. No relevant agency or organ of FCT gave that approval for them to build such place. Or there was no survey, nothing was done. So, and now it is the poor persons that bought those places that are going to suffer.
Which is particularly my issue is typically in Nigeria when things like this happen, the masses bear the brunt of it because the masses bought the houses. So what can we do so that to ensure that this is not the case again? Because somebody approved, they were processed. Definitely development control will have to approve. Various agencies will have to approve before those houses were built. Now it has been built and this problem has arisen. Should only the poor masses pay the consequences? In fact, should the poor masses who, as far as they were concerned, everything was done, pay any price at all?
If somebody approved that particular place without relevant studies or without relevant documents, I think the person should go for it. Like we mentioned, poor people who bought the lands are now ones that are suffering it. and maybe somebody has already smiled to the bank.
Yes.
You may not even be able to trace who is the original person that got those places. The person may be at large. You don't know the person again. But those who bought the land or bought the building that were there are the ones that are suffering. So we should be able to hold somebody accountable for his or her action and inaction. We should be able to hold somebody accountable, or else this will continue to happen.
Okay. Thank you very much. Sir, let's come back to you. Something you mentioned, and I think we should go more detailed on it, on the various causes of flood. If we can, go a little more detailed on it. I know there's rain, there's rivers. Could just enlighten us a little more on the various causes.
No, well, first of all, you have urbanization. There's nothing you're going to do about it. You have waste management. There's nothing you're going to do about it. You're going to have development. There's nothing you're going to do about it. But my question now is, this flood, like he said, rightly said and robustly, that the flood will always come. Move around Abuja now. Go to the relief line. This retention wall, it's not a new bay now. The man, you give a man a plot to construct an estate. The retention wall is inside the relief line. Wow. Is there no agency to check it? When the problem come out, now everybody will be running up. It's very, very rampant. The flash flood now is becoming so menacing, very, very aggressive. 3 or 4 days ago, incidentally, the day, that's 4th of July, corresponded with the highest temperature in the world.
Yes.
That was 17.8 or so. So, corresponding with it, you saw the amount of rain that poured down. The Apoduse was in a mess. We have constrained all the relief lines so badly. The flash flood is the most dangerous one. That's what kills. Yeah. And the Galadimawa area, you see, when I was coming from work, I was already getting afraid because it has risen to a very dangerous level. They just they just constructed a covert for it to go for that mass amount of water. So you see, the flood will always affect low areas. It will always affect mountains. That is why, look, you have to start thinking about Guzape. People will just dig the base of a mountain in such a way that the rains now, you are talking of a lake effect flood rain now. The rain now that is, what do you mean that a rain that is supposed to fall for about 5 years, falling in an hour? If they dump on those mountains that they have almost reduced the base, that's the danger waiting to happen. The agencies should come out. The cliche now that the agency won. The agency has uncovered. We don't need you to uncover. Go and do your work. What are you uncovering?
And what are you warning?
What are you warning? You are paid for. You are paid to do it, not to come and warn the citizens. After the flooding, we give rice. No. We have to be alive first to come and eat the rice. I want to ask you a question. Where are they taking the IDP so that will be displaced this year?
All right, thank you. We'll get back to that. This is a very serious matter. We might be smiling because of the intensity of the passion he is displaying, but this is a very, very serious matter indeed. Now we're going to go to a larger issue of our flood management system. What can we do? Obviously, we need to have a more robust flood management system that is not just about our forecasting and its development, very, very robust. You've been in the system for decades. You've worked, you've studied. This is what you breathe and live. Can you give us some insight as to how we can build a better, more effective and enforceable flood management system?
Like we mentioned earlier, flood is inevitable.
Yes.
And it requires various sectors, various actors to be involved in mitigation, in management, even resettlement of people. All this has to be put in place in view of expectation that the flood will occur. But when we just go to sleep and do nothing, we are caught pants down, like he rightly mentioned. Expectedly, people will be displaced this year. Last year, over 2 million people thereabout were displaced. We were caught unawares. Provision should always be made plans should be put in place. Whatever it is, like I've been part of the FCT. So many things that have been done here. FCT, Emergency Management Agency. We have had several meetings where various actors have been brought in. They brought in they call them divers,
Yes.
so who could go for rescue.
All right, sir.
They brought in tank criers.
Yeah.
They brought all kinds of people, community leaders.
Sit down, yeah.
That in the event this happens, they have already identified the highlands that people could be, people could be taken to.
Relocated, yeah.
So it's a lot of things that are involved in it.
So, but this can be done.
Eh?
This can be done.
Yes,
Thank
it
you.
can. It can be.
Thank you very much, Engineer Clement. Thank you very much, sir. In rounding up, sir, last words. We've talked a lot. What's next?
What next is that the area councils in Abuja should go and do their work. Abuja is turning to a dump site. We know we make money from dump site, but that's not the way we want to make it. Let them clear the drainage. All the manholes in Abuja have been stolen. So you see major road now, the manholes are blocked. Can you imagine the road being flooded in a place like Utako,
I can
the
understand.
city center?
So it's time to stop talking and take action immediately.
That was yesterday.
Thank you very much, Air Vice Marshal, sir. It's been a pleasure having this conversation with you, and we're looking forward to an extended conversation with other actors in the sector so we can make some more progress. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Engineer.
Yeah,
It's been an
welcome.
absolute pleasure having you.
Thank
Your
you,
knowledge
my
has
pleasure.
been very interesting.
Thank you so much.